Hi internet friends, my name is Elise. I am a full-time marketing manager based in Toronto. Today I want to share with you how you can elevate your space through the 5 senses. So sight, smell, taste, sound, and touch. I thought this would be an interesting way to segment up the video and to share some tips, share how I've incorporated these 5 senses into my decor. If you have not checked out my studio apartment tours, I have one up when I first moved in, so it's empty, as well as a furnished apartment tour. Please like and subscribe so that you're notified, and let's dive right into the details. I'm going to start with a no-brainer, which is smell. Smell is very much linked to our memory. It taps into like the lizard brain. A smell can really evoke a feeling, whether those are candles or incense or essential oils. Right now, I'm really into incense and essential oils. I'm really tapping into my wellness girl era. I've been loving my essential oils diffuser, which I've had for years, that I got on Amazon. Anything I speak about today that has a link, I'll link that in the description so you can check that out. I love essential oils because you can really pick and choose which flavors you like, what mood you're in. Sometimes I want to be more calm and zen and do something like lavender or jasmine, or sometimes I want to, feel awake, so I'll do lemongrass or peppermint. So you can really set the mood with the smells in your house. I think it's so important to activate the sense of smell when you're home. Your home is such an important space. My environment really does impact how I feel. Smell can play a big role in setting that mood, kind of elevating your experience when you're at home. The next sense I want to talk about is touch. This is a little ironic because what I'm about to share, you don't actually touch. It is touchless, which are censored trash cans. This is such a no-brainer splurge in my mind. You use your trash can every single day, whether it is a foot pedal or you have to literally open the lid, put your trash in, take the lid down. Like, how many times do you do that a day? To invest in a sensor trash can is 100% worth it to me. They're not even that expensive. The one I have in my kitchen was like $100, and I got another smaller one for the bathroom, which it's just made my life so much easier. It's so efficient. I just wave my hand, the lid opens. Also, I just feel like it's more sanitary, that I don't have to actually touch the trash can. Anyway, you get it. Touchless trash cans, worth the investment. The second thing I want to talk about when it comes to touch are area rugs. So even though I have a really small space, my space, including the balcony, is like 300 square feet, which is tiny. I essentially live in a glorified box that has a very nice view, granted. Area rugs just bring such a nice texture to the space. I think it really grounds the space. It helps designate visually certain areas of my studio. So for example, I have an entrance wicker rug. It has more of a gritty type texture. Any stuff that I might track in from my outside shoes on the rug, and all I need to do is vacuum the rug. For my living room, I have a pink, white, and orange rug. This is definitely the focal point of my space. For small spaces, I learned in other interior design YouTube videos that oversized designs and shapes actually help make the space feel bigger, whereas like smaller, more intricate patterns will make the space feel smaller. So I definitely kept that in mind when I bought this one. The tufted rug I have in my kitchen for when I stand on when I'm at the sink washing dishes or making dinner was very expensive, but I've come to realize all tufted rugs are super expensive, and if you really love that look, you just need to be willing to splurge on it. I got mine from this vendor here. Ties in all the colors in my space as well. Last area rug I have is a bathroom mat, which are actually 2 pebble mats against each other. I love it. It makes me feel like I'm at a spa. I step out onto these pebbles and it's like I'm at a riverbed. Obsessed. So kind of along the lines of separating your space with area rugs, I want to move on to taste. Like I said before, taste, we're not talking about nom eating. We're talking about your personal taste and your personal preferences and how you like to decorate your space. Living in a studio Having a functional space is really important, which does mean designating certain areas for certain activities. Here I have my couch, which is the living room. It's also where I eat, where I wind down, where I journal. So really activities that are for me, I like to do on the couch. Here next to me is my work from home setup. So this is my work area. In another corner is my little coffee tea station. This is where I go in the morning to make my coffee or matcha, and where I go to grab water throughout the day, making my nighttime tea. Just having like some spatial designation of where you do certain things really helps with separating work and play. I found that to be very important. When you're designing your space or figuring out where things should go, keeping a loose idea of what you want to do in certain parts of your home will be really helpful. The next thing I find super important is bringing life into your space. I live in downtown Toronto. It is high rises all over the place. Where I look out my window, there is really zero nature except for some rooftop landscaping where there are trees. I think it's very important to bring plants into your space. Now, with that being said, I have lived in this apartment for over a year and a half now, and I've realized, sadly, to the conclusion that I do not have a green thumb. So I apparently find it very hard to keep plants alive. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I've killed many plants already. I would say about half are real and half are fake, and there is no shame in that. Even though they are fake plants, it still infuses a sense of life and vibrancy into your space. More plants the merrier. If you don't have a green thumb, don't feel like you have to go real plant or no plant. There is no shame in going the fake plant route. And I got all of my fake plants on Amazon, which I will link below. The last thing when it comes to taste, especially for a small apartment, is to not shy away from oversized artwork. Do not be scared to get something oversized. I think it's natural to stray away from that because, oh, my space is already so small. Why would I want to hang this giant painting on this one wall? And it's gonna take up the whole space. It's gonna make my place feel even smaller. Hanging something oversized does the opposite. It really opens up the space and makes it feel bigger. I'm not exactly sure why that happens. All I know is I've seen that in many interior design videos, so I have taken that to heart, and I have a very oversized painting hanging in my bathroom, and I absolutely love it. Just another interior design tip for you all. Let's move on to possibly the most important sense when it comes to decorating your apartment, which is sight, the things we see. We can argue everything in this video applies to sight because of course we see everything, but specifically for this section I wanted to talk about two things: lighting and visual interest. So let's start with lighting. I have different types of lighting all over my place. Even though my place is so small, I have overhead lighting, I have one mood lighting on this side, one hanging lantern light on this side, a hanging star in my bathroom, LED lights. Having these different lighting options really helps set different types of moods in my small space. Just visually helps me separate, okay, now it's nighttime, okay, now it's time to wake up. Having these different lights and different tones of light really help bring interest to the room, make it feel a bit more fun. I'm sure if any of you are interested in interior design, it's such a no-no to use your big overhead lights, which I think is so funny. I use them all the time. But having these different lighting options make your space feel more fun and there's more variety. It's definitely worth the time spent in installing all of these lighting fixtures. The second thing I want to say when it comes to sight is visual interest. By that I mean bringing these eyes up and down and up and down in your space. If you have knickknacks all put in one horizontal field, that's a lot less interesting than if you move them on different shelves, on different verticals, because that really draws the eyes up and down, which also makes the space feel bigger. I've hung these space posters all along the highest trim of my wall, which brings the eyes up. I've installed floor-to-ceiling curtains, which also draws the eyes up. I've hung a macrame planter on the ceiling. I have a couple hanging planters actually from the ceiling, and all of this really does help in making the space feel bigger, as well as fill some of the negative space that you can't really make functional. So something to keep in mind when you're decorating your place, whether that's hanging shelves a bit higher than you would think or hanging things from the ceiling, is an easy way to elevate the eyes and make your place more visually interesting. Okay, the last sense we are talking about is sound. So when it comes to sound, I am really talking about a smart home system. I personally use Alexa. I love my Alexa setup. I have her turn on and off my lights. Alexa, light on.
Okay.
I have her welcome me home. Alexa, I'm home.
Welcome back to Home Sweet Home.
She tells me news in the morning, any sort of smart home system where you can play your music, you can get news, you can get the weather. Alexa, what's the weather?
In Toronto, it's 6 degrees Celsius with clear skies and sun.
It's just so helpful. You can really customize commands to what you want within the app, no matter which smart home system you use. I used to use Google Home for a long time, but then I switched to Alexa. I can't remember what the reasoning was, but any of those really help make your home feel alive in a weird and maybe creepy way. If you're not into giving up your information, this may not be for you, but I have fully accepted that it's okay. I will give my data for this convenience. It can really make your space feel like your own. And then my last bonus tidbit is really just for me. This is definitely not for everyone. I mentioned that I have a balcony in my space. It's a very, very small balcony, but I've tried to make the most of it, and one of the ways I've done that is I actually installed a bird feeder, and a bunch of little birds come to my balcony and eat, and I can hear them chirp. Again, brings in that element of liveliness and life into the space. I am not surrounded by nature here in downtown Toronto. Having at least these birds come every day, eat at my bird feeder, makes me feel a bit closer to Mother Nature, which is very important to me. That is it. I hope you liked this video. I hope you found these tips helpful or interesting, maybe a different way of thinking about decorating for your home that you haven't thought of before. If you like this type of video, please like and comment and let me know, and I will do more home videos for you. That is a wrap on today's video. I will talk to you in the next one. Until next time.